welcome back to the Childless Millennials podcast. I'm your host, Merrisa.
And I'm Bethany.
And on today's episode, we're going to talk about cats. So I guess if you're not a cat lover, stick around because we might change your mind. All right, Bethany, what is in your mug today?
I have a mug with a cat on it, but it has my banana coffee.
She's
from
a
Dunkin'.
fiend, guys.
I do like it, I think. It's a banana latte. It's growing on me for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. I have a mason jar and I have my Celsius pink lemonade, although it is clearly yellow and it is so good. It's fizz free.
Wait, is it actually called pink lemonade?
Yeah.
That's so strange.
Like it says pink lemonade. It tastes like pink lemonade, but it's yellow.
Huh.
So it's good.
Cheers.
Cheers. Have you ever seen that TikTok or reel that's like people born between, what is it, 81
I think.
and 96, and then it's like a pause and it's like, how's your cat? And it shows a cat.
Yeah.
That's how I
Yeah.
feel. Like every time I see those, I'm like, that's so funny.
Yeah, we all have cats now.
Yeah, that's us. So tell me about your cats. How many do you have?
5 cats.
Yeah.
So I've always had cats since I was like 6 years old. I got my first cat. And then I grew up, I had 2 cats mostly growing up. And then when I moved to college, I actually like really missed having a cat.
Yeah.
And during the time I was in college, my 2 cats that I had back at home did pass away.
Oh.
My oldest one being 19 at the time. But
Wow.
I just missed having a cat. So my senior year, I decided to adopt a cat. So I ended up adopting a cat. I still have her today. Her name's Raja. And she's 14.
Yeah.
She basically looks like an orange tabby,
Okay.
but has a lot of black markings too. So almost, she's like basically a very orange tortoiseshell.
Yeah.
So she's like a tortie like your
Yeah.
cat, Slim, but very much if you were to get rid of most of the dark color and have mostly orange.
Mostly orange. That's
so
pretty
she
cool.
looks like she has like all
Does
over
she
her
have the
face and stuff.
attitude of an orange cat?
She does. She's
Yeah.
got the tortoiseshell attitude.
Okay.
So
Which-
she's very
I mean, the
sassy.
combo honestly
Yeah.
is probably wild.
Very sassy. She basically runs the house.
Yeah.
She grew up mostly with a dog, with my roommate's dog in
Yeah.
college. So she kind of learned a lot of what she knows from a coonhound, from a dog. So she drinks out of the toilet, she barks, and she does a lot of other dog-like things. So she also likes dogs. Like she just,
That's
you
good.
know, it's really funny. So she was kind of my only cat for a while. And then back in 2000 and basically I started to really think about getting another cat in like 2016, 17 or so.
Okay.
I was like, oh, Raja would love to have another cat around.
Yeah.
Not sure she really actually felt that way. So I ended up adopting a cat in the very beginning of 2018. So this cat was born in 2017,
Okay.
which makes her like turning 9 or something this
Yeah.
year. Yeah. So her name is Miss Tilly. Her name originally was Snow, but
Okay.
I switched it to Miss Tilly. A lot of my animals have Disney names. Now, Raja, very easy to know that that's the tiger from
Yeah.
Aladdin. Like
Yeah.
most Disney fans would know that. A lot of Disney fans would not know why Miss Tilly's named Miss Tilly and that it even has any Disney reference at all.
Yeah.
She actually is a rescue from Puerto Rico from like the hurricanes and everything. I have a friend who runs Paws for Survival, which they rescue a lot of dogs and cats from Puerto Rico and other places. I got to know her actually like in the process of adopting this cat. We realized we have mutual friends like in the animal community and things.
Yeah.
And so I adopted her. And so Miss Tilly is named after the boat that is on top of the giant mountain at Typhoon Lagoon Water Park at Disney World in Florida. It's a boat that had gotten like trapped up on the mountain after a big storm.
Yep.
So I was like, that is a cute name for a cat. And I was like, that is very fitting.
Have you ever seen that boat in Dreamlight Valley?
Yes.
Yes, they have it up there. It's so funny you mentioned
it's the
that.
same.
Yeah.
It's the same boat. So yeah. So she's named after that. I just call her Tilly for short.
Yeah.
So I had her, but basically a year later, my same friend who rescues those animals was down in Florida, actually at Disney World, the week after I had just been down there for her daughter's like cheer competition.
Oh, yeah.
There was a cat that needed a home that somebody had found. He had been wandering the streets and mostly hanging out by a Waffle House, and a woman had taken him in for a little bit. He had like his paws were all singed. He had like no whiskers. They were all singed. He had like ringworm on his face. Like he just like looked a mess. His fur was all very like the texture of straw. It was very dry.
Gosh, yeah.
But she posted him because she was bringing him on a flight to Boston
Okay.
from Florida, and I messaged her right away. I'm like, hey, if that cat needs a home,
Aw.
let me know.
You're like, you're so beautiful.
Yeah, he was
Ring
a
roses and all.
Siamese, and I'm such a sucker for Siamese because Miss Tilly is actually kind of exactly what I had been looking for at the time of looking for a second cat. Miss Tilly is a Siamese mix, so she's like a diluted calico. So she's mostly white, which is why her name used to be Snow.
Yeah.
But she has a lot of gray and orange like spots, but they're
Yes.
very dilute and and she's got the blue eyes.
Oh, she does. That's
Yeah, and all her markings are mostly around like the points of her body. So she's like a
Very
calico
unique.
point Siamese, but like the dilute color. She's really pretty. But Mr. Waffles,
Yeah.
who was hanging out around the Waffle House, he already had his name. At least it was Waffles, but then the rescue called him Mr. Waffles. But
It's cute.
so he's a big Siamese, and I fell in love with him and ended up adopting him in 2019. But he was already speculated to be like probably at least like 2
Okay.
or maybe 3. So he's about a year older than Tilly at least.
Okay.
But we don't know his exact age because he was found already as an adult.
Yeah.
So I had all 3 of those for a while, and it was great because Raja didn't love Miss Tilly at first.
Oh, yeah.
But then when I introduced Mr. Waffles, then Tilly had somebody to kind of like bounce her energy off of. So they got along really well.
That's good.
But then when my now husband moved into the house in 2020, sometime along that time that he moved in, he ended up bringing his cat along with his roommate's cat. So we had 2 brothers that came into the house. So right there we had 5. Now that's not the 5 I have now, but those 2 cats came in. We had Butters. It's short for Butterfingers. It was a really fat orange cat. Like he's an orange tabby and he weighs like 23, 24 pounds.
Oh my God, big guy.
He's giant. And his brother Toffee, who was like the runt of the litter, and he was much smaller. We only had Toffee for like 8 months. That one's my husband's cat.
Yeah.
He had like kidney failure.
Oh.
So he was only like 4 years old at the time, and he
Baby.
passed away like 8 or 9 months after the cats moved into our
Yeah.
house. So then we're back down to the 4 cats. We
cats,
had
yeah.
Butters and Mr. Waffles became
That's right.
instant best friends. They're
So cute.
24/7 together snuggling. They're like cuddle buddies
Yeah.
all the time. And they're both really fat. Like at one point they both weighed 23 pounds. Mr. Waffles has lost a couple pounds, so he looks a little bit better, but
Yeah.
not Butters. Butters has stayed fat. So
Big
now,
guy.
so we ended up adopting another cat. Not last year, the year before. So like right before we got married.
Yeah.
So 2024.
Yeah.
That October, I think. No, because it was before we got married. So it was August.
Okay.
So August, we adopted Bagheera, another Disney name. So Bagheera actually has a very long name because we had been looking at cats for a while. We just wanted a kitten. We hadn't had a
Yeah.
kitten in a long time, and we kept going to the MSPCA like
Yeah.
frequently. We'd
Yeah.
go there just to look at kittens, and it was like bound to happen eventually. There was one day we went in and they had several litters of kittens.
Yeah.
And one of the litters, all black cats. And I love black cats. Like I've never had a black cat, but I've always wanted one. Like hence even the black cat, like
Yeah.
on my mug. So I'd always kind of wanted one,
Yeah.
but I knew if I ever got a black cat, I wanted to name it Bagheera from the
Yeah.
Jungle Book, like really
Perfect.
bad.
Literally perfect.
But his name was already Newt, and I thought that was a really
That
cute
is actually
name for a black
very
cat,
unique.
like because of
Yeah.
like I don't know witchiness. I don't know,
Yeah.
like a Newt is a
Yeah.
good one. So Bagheera Newt was kind of like what I liked a lot. But I am also a big musical lover. Like
Okay.
I love musicals, and I've always liked the musical Cats. And I know that's kind of controversial because some people hate it. I liked it. So one of my favorite cats from the musical is a black cat, and he's like a magical cat named Mr. Mistopheles. So I'm like, well, how do I decide between Mr. Mistopheles, Bagheera, and Newt? So his full name on paper at the vet
Oh my gosh.
and everything is Mr. Bagheera Newt Mistopheles.
I wish the vet's like, cool.
No, they love it. It's all
When
so
they call, they're like,
my text messages say like Mr. Bagheera Newt Mistopheles is due for his appointment. Yeah,
Oh,
it's really
gosh.
funny.
That's so funny.
But we just call him Bagheera, but he has the most nicknames of any of the cats. Cause like, you always give your pets nicknames. They all just happens.
Yep.
Raja, because she's like in charge. She's like Raja Mama. She's the mama.
Yeah.
But Bagheera, we call him Baggy. Like that's
Baggy.
because that's even in the Jungle Book. That's kind of like Bagheera's nickname too. Like
Okay.
I think Baloo calls him Baggy.
Okay.
So that kind of just became Baggy. Sometimes Doug calls him Bug because he loves to eat bugs and chase bugs, and somehow that became a thing. He also calls him Newt or Newt sometimes, but
Yeah.
it's mostly Baggy Beans, Baggy Bean Boy, the boy with the bags. I don't know. We have like a million names for him. So he's got a lot of nicknames. But yeah, those are our 5 cats.
Yes.
There's a lot of them, but they all have their own personalities and they're great. And I'm sure as we talk about our cats over the time, we'll talk about little personality traits that they each have. But I will turn it over to you to introduce your cats.
Yeah. So believe it or not, so we're filming this at my house and you wouldn't know I have cats because they don't come out, but I love them to death. So
whereas at my house, our cats would be like,
so like when we go to her house, you'll probably see them. Here, you probably won't. Maybe we'll see how it goes. Maybe we'll get a little used to what's going on. But so in 2010, Nick and I were living at our first apartment together. We had a roommate, and none of the apartments allowed cats, but a girl at school had a litter and she needed to find a home for these cats. So I kind of was like, oh, I'll take one. So I went to her house. I picked Slim up. And then I was like, babe, can we get a cat? He's like, no. I was like, okay, well, I'm on the way home with one. I think I traumatized her because I didn't have a cat. I had nothing. I had no cat stuff at all. So I had a minivan back then, and I kind of just put her in the car. And she ended up on the windshield and we're just driving around. And I feel like that traumatized her now because she hates cars. Like she literally will like drool and foam and pants when she's in like the car now. Oh, I feel so bad. But so yeah, that's my first baby. Her name is Slim. She turned 16 in November, and she is a calico tortie partial Siamese cat. She's very loud. Siamese are very loud. And she's my soul animal. She's just like, I'm going to be very upset the day that she's gone. Like she's 16, so she's pretty old. So I am prepared for that. But we ended up getting a emotional support animal certificate for our place we lived in when we moved back here because you weren't allowed to have cats. And I just didn't want the nosy neighbor who wanted to figure out who had cats in their apartment. I didn't want them to say, no, you can't have her or take her away or whatever. So I was like, oh, well, I'll get this. And then I have to have it. So she is actually my emotional support animal. That's though. Funny, yeah. Anytime I'm like frustrated or crying or yelling, she just comes up and she screams at me. It's so funny. I love it. And then we got another cat because I thought that Slim needed a friend because I was in college and we both worked. So we got Sarah. Well, actually, my husband got Sarah with his dad. They went to the MSPCA, got her, and then surprised me. So like I opened the box and her little head popped out and she was just the cutest little thing. And she was just a gray tabby cat, like the normal. She was beautiful though. Yeah. So her and Slim, they bonded like almost immediately. I'm pretty sure they were like the best of friends. They loved each other, did everything together, slept together. I have so many pictures of them like yin yang ball curled up in a ball.
That's like 90% of my Butters and photos are them like
I know.
Yin yang.
And then we moved back here. Like we literally lived in the house that I'm sitting in right now, just on the other side. We lived there for a little while. Then we got an apartment over on the other side of Dennis, and we lived there for like 7 years. Like that was like the place. That's where she grew up. That's where we have the most memories. That's
where you were when I first met you guys and taking care of the cat.
Yeah. So Sarah ended up getting diabetes. So I think I mentioned this before in one of the podcasts, but we needed a babysitter. I don't know, pet sitter or something.
There are babies.
Yeah. To administer her insulin and like kind of, feed them whenever we were gone. And because she needs the insulin, we work weddings, so it's all day. So we needed you to come in and make sure she got that insulin at that certain time. So Bethany was here all of the time, basically taking care of our little lady. She passed away a couple of years ago. Bethany took her to the vet for us because we were in California. I basically landed, turned around, got right back on the plane, came back. And unfortunately, diabetes did take her. So that was sad. But we we have cooped well, I think. So I thought that after losing Sarah, I thought that Slim needed like a new friend because she's old and I didn't want her to like just sleep all the time and kind of, do nothing. So my husband and I went to New Hampshire and we got our girl Penny. She is a long-haired, we think she's part Maine Coon.
She seems like it.
Yeah, the vet the first thing they said was like, wow, you got a Maine Coon here. We're like, we looked at each other, we're like, we do? Yeah. What? And it turns out she's a big girl. She's a big girl. She's so beautiful. She's orange. She's like a lighter orange. She's scared of everything. We don't know why. So she probably will never come out. So we'll put some videos or pictures here so you can see her. And she is the best. She's wild. She's an orange cat. So I don't know if you know anything about orange cats, but their attitudes are like crazy. I think there was one time actually we had like a scratching post. It was like a tree. It was like this high. And she would run to it and just like latch on. And she would climb up to the top and she just would do it over and over again.
So funny.
But Slim wasn't really responding to her so much. And we were like, okay, well now Penny's bored. So we're like, we should get another cat. And I've always wanted a Siamese cat.
A cat for the cat. And then a cat for that cat.
Exactly. So yeah, I was scrolling. We found her on Pet Finder. She's from Florida. So Nick and I we want to like touch the cat and like be in the room with the cat before adopting. That's pretty much what we did with everybody else. But with Sydney, we couldn't do that. We had to agree to adopt her before they shipped her up from Florida to here. So we took the gamble and we did it. The foster place was really great because they sent us videos and pictures almost every day. And yeah, so she came from Florida. They shipped her up in a van with like 30 other cats. Nick went to Connecticut to grab her from the van because they had stops along the way. And I was working a wedding, so I couldn't go. So when I came back, she was here. And so I don't know if you did this, but when we introduce cats to each other, we like separate them for a couple weeks and then they can meet each other.
I do it for like a day.
Oh,
not even.
I think we're supposed to do it for 2 weeks. And we think we lasted a week for the first one.
So when we first got Bagheera, we had him like in a bathroom kind of.
Yeah.
He would just howl and he'd sit in the sink and like, he just wanted to be out. Like it was terrible. So we're like, okay, well, he spent the first night there. Second night he was in the bed with us and all the other cats.
So Nick and I took turns sleeping in the office. So like he would sleep in there one night, I would sleep in there the next night. So like for like a week or two straight, we didn't sleep in the same bed because we wanted like them to be like good, So yeah. I
tried to do it with Tilly too. When I first got Tilly and I only had Raja, I left Tilly in our it was a guest room at the time. And I'm like, oh, okay, I could stay in there if I wanted to. She had food, but like Raja would just sit at the door all the time crying. Yeah. Tilly was on the other side crying. And I'm like, okay. So that also lasted, I think, one night, maybe 2 nights max. And then I just opened the door and I'm like, just let them deal with it.
Penny and Slim meeting each other, that was honestly fine. It went faster than I thought it was going to do. Like there was hissing obviously at first. And then a couple days later, I look over and Slim is like licking her. Yeah. It was cute. So that was very quick. But when we got Sydney, she came out and it was like weeks and weeks of fighting and like hissing. And it just took so long. And I was getting very discouraged. I was like, what is going on? But it's common, I guess. So that took a while. Now, Sydney's at the point where, first of all, we think she's the runt. She's so small. She's just a tiny little girl and she's already past 1 year old and she's still like this little baby. She also looks way smaller next to Penny. Yeah. Because she's huge. Yeah. It's so funny. But they fight all the time. And now like Sydney's doing this thing where she wants to start the fights. I don't know. It's playful at this point, but it's super cute.
There's constantly like brawls going on.
It's so funny.
It's a constant.
Yeah. So those are my babies. So I've had 4, but currently 3. Yeah. So yeah. And Penny and Sydney are both 1 year old. I'm a plant person. So I love like putting plants in the house. Unfortunately, they have to be up high because Penny is like digging in them. But there's toxic plants to cats. And I don't think many people know this. They kind of just get plants and put them in the house because a plant is a plant and whatnot. But there are toxic plants, and I think everybody should know this. It's not talked about often.
Like a common one's like poinsettias, like during Christmas time.
Yeah.
Those are like highly toxic.
Yeah. There's some other ones. I can't remember off the top of my head that
lilies are really bad.
Yes, lilies. Yes, that's a big one. I think there was some other.
So even like if like for a while, like Doug would sometimes come home with flowers for me.
Yeah.
And I'd always be like nervous because they'd always have like lilies in them and stuff. So I'd always have to put them up high somewhere. But then of course my cats would find a way to get to them somehow. So, and Tilly is notorious for eating plants. So I'm like, great. And she has gotten into toxic plants before and she barfs them right up, but still like, so all of my plants are super high, just to keep them out of harm's way.
Yeah. So I basically just wanted to put this in here because, like I said, it's not talked about often. And I feel like a lot of people have toxic plants in their house with their animals. And I just want people to be aware. So like next time you're plant shopping or even the plants that are in your house now, just look it up, literally Google, like, is this poinsettia toxic to my cat? And I'll say yes or no. And just like either put it up high or just get rid of it. So I think that's important.
Like I found out one that's not toxic to them is spider plants, but they like love it and they get almost like high off of it. So Tilly is actually obsessed with spider plants. So just to keep my spider plants alive, I also had to move those somewhere else where they wouldn't get all chewed up because she would eat them.
Taking care of animals, like I don't know, I don't have kids, but I feel like they are on the same level almost as taking care of a child because they're, I mean, my girls, they'll put something in their mouth and they'll run away. And then we have to run after them and, take it out. Yeah. So I feel like there's a lot of that going on. I do realize that they're not human and that it technically is a tad easier to take care of them because you can get sitters and all that stuff. With your kid, you can't just leave at home when you decide to go to Disney for a week. You know what I mean?
It's like the video I saw that was like, oh, all these childless millennials like complain about the fact that they don't want kids because it's too much work. But then here they are doing above and beyond for their cat.
Yes, and spending thousands of dollars on them. All right. So I think that we need to wrap up. I think anything else you want to say about your cat babies?
I think that's it. I'm sure it'll come up again, and I'm sure we'll talk more about like pets and everything. Yeah. So I also have my 2 dogs, so maybe we'll talk more about pets. Maybe
we're gonna go to on your house, and we're gonna tap into.
We can look at all my animals.
It's gonna be so fun.
It'll be a day.
It'll be so fun.
And also like if any of you listeners like have stories about your personal pets, we'll and you want to send us stories.
I mean, cat videos are so fun.
Yeah.
So like
send us anything.
We do have on the our website, childlessmillennials.mypixieset.com. There is a form called Listener Stories. You can just click that, fill it out, and it'll send right to us. And on that note, we also are going to do listener stories every week. Right now, we only have 2 topics, maybe the 3 with the pet stories. And we're going to basically read your stories out loud. You can be anonymous or we can read your name, whatever it may be. Right now, the topics are paranormal stories because I'm very much into the paranormal. I think you are too. Yeah. And then a secrets episode. So if you have any secrets that you want to tell, you can tell them anonymously, and we're going to kind of read them out loud. I feel like that could be interesting.
If we get a lot, we could even do like one secret per episode, like at the end, just like read someone's anonymous secret.
I think that's such a fun idea because I think a lot of people have secrets or things that are not told that people don't
Something
know.
You just want to say, but you don't want anybody to know.
Yeah. So again, that'll be on our website. You can also message us on Instagram as well if you want. And as soon as we get enough stories, we're going to start reading those out. So instead of the 1 episode, we'll probably have 2 episodes a week, but that's going to take a little time. So send them in so we can do that. But yeah, thank you so much for tuning in. Shout out to Nick from Killing Entertainment for editing and producing this podcast. Follow us so we can get more people seeing what we're doing and continue the conversation. But yeah, that's it.
Tell your cat we say hi.